Welcome to the Explosive Strength Podcast with Jerry Bidney. On today's episode, I have Hayden Frey with me. Hayden Frey was one of the first people in the gym to bench 400 plus. We're going to talk today about Hayden, about his life in the gym, what the gym has done for him, and kind of where he's at in his career path. So, welcome to the show, Hayden.
Glad to be here, Jared.
Oh, thanks, Hayden. Do you remember what year did you start at the gym?
So that was, I started coming here around my sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
Just after the football season where we had the really successful year at Stars Mill.
Did you go to the state championship game?
We went to state. Tough. That was a tough one. That one even still stings to this day about that game, even though really none of the sophomores ever played in it.
Yeah, but, I can't remember what we did yesterday, much less what happened in 2010.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's almost been a decade now.
Yeah, you're looking at the walls earlier, you're like, man, this
wall's gotten bigger.
It's almost been 10 years.
It's almost been 10 years. But, so really what happened was my father, actually got me to start lifting at like a young age. So I was kind of like pretty strong, going into...
Yeah, I remember your first time ever, I think you had a 285, 295 bench.
Yeah.
You was pretty high end as far as my normal average person will come in here with a 235 bench. I like to think like Lasky, Muska, even Mike Hilton all came and they started all right at 235 on the bench.
Yeah, so I had a little bit of advantage, but I was definitely hitting this.
But your dad was a powerlifter too, though, right?
Yeah,
he lifted.
He lifted at back in the Naval Academy days. Okay. I think he got like 7th in the nation for his weight class. I want don't quote me on that. I'm sure he's going to correct me later, but he did pretty well.
Yeah. So, how did he here, or how did y'all go from football to the gym?
Like as in your gym, or just my gym? Like going to the gym in general?
Yeah.
Well, I heard about it. I had a bunch of good friends on the football team at the time who were all members of your gym, and they were finding success. And I was kind of hitting a plateau, so they kind of convinced me to come check it out. I wasn't sure about it at first.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's an excellent point, because when I was lifting in high school and college, I was already strong too. I was over 300. I benched 365 as a incoming freshman from college. 225, 25 times.
Okay.
And so when someone told me, or I thought I needed to take advice from someone, I said, no, I don't.
Right.
Because you got so strong to a point that you think you're almost too good, right?
Right.
I mean, did you ever have that thought process?
Well, yeah, because I remember it's like starting to come back to me now. I'm starting to think about it. I actually refused to come here for a little bit. It took me a while to kind of get open to it.
Yeah.
But when most of my friends started coming here, like the big jumps that they were having, like they were catching up to me. Pretty much what was happening, and I was like, well, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
So I decided to give it a whirl, especially after, I had a shoulder injury my sophomore year. Back during wrestling season, I dislocated it, messed up my rotator cuff a bit.
Yeah, because I remember that's the reason, I thought you came to the gym is because you had a hurt shoulder. So the reason you came is because you didn't want your friends to catch you.
Yeah, because I wasn't lifting. I remember... So this wasn't the smartest thing back in I look back at high school and I question a lot of my decisions at this point in time, but I remember with my dislocated shoulder, we still had me doing single arm bench press. Mm-hmm. So my right shoulder was bum. I wasn't doing anything, but I kept working out my left one, so I was getting like lopsided.
Did you do that at school?
I did that at school.
So
not probably the smartest decision.
Yeah, I think some other kids did that. Actually played football at Stars. I forgot. I don't know the kid's name, but yeah, he came in and he did like you did, and he had such an imbalance, and it took a while to correct that.
I still slightly have that to this day. That's probably because I dislocated this twice now. My right shoulder is a little bit weaker, but even going off the bench, I've worked on it and made it a lot better. But for a while there, I would really have an imbalance. It was kind of ridiculous, but now it's just about neutral now at this point, but except for when I'm maxing. You kind of notice it when I'm maxing a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit, but it's not so bad anymore.
So what finally made you click, say, okay, I'm going there?
Well, I liked powerlifting, and you had a trial thing back then, and I could go there for a week. I think it was a week, or it was 3 days, something like that, and check it out. And I kind of fell in love with it because you know, it was definitely with the plateauing and then the group of guys that you had, or guys and girls.
Who was your crew? Who was the crew that you came with that kind of got you? Was Mitch Lang, or did you get Lang to come?
No, they got me to come. So Steve McDougal, Kyle Orcutt, Mitch Lang, and they were kind of led by Michael Muska. He was like the original guy.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how it all kind of.
And then eventually they pulled me in. I was slightly after them, but I eventually came.
Yeah, I think we got Mikey up to 365. I don't know. He had some issues as well.
I remember him having some sort of injury in high school. I couldn't tell you anymore. But
yeah, I know he got a hernia at one point in time. Had to put some mesh in.
Rip. That's right. He did have a hernia.
Yeah. And so
I don't know if he appreciates us letting the world know he had a hernia, but
yeah, he got it fixed.
Yeah.
And started lifting, and he lifted heavy. Then he got an offer and went to play football for Mercer.
Yeah, he did. Did he do all 4 years? Yeah,
I think he just did
all.
two.
He did.
I think Mikey did 2 years at Mercer.
Okay.
Then he transferred out.
I haven't seen Mike,
I like
Mike in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't seen Robbie either.
Yeah. Right.
So so you started coming to gym. You liked it.
Did. Yeah.
What was it like back then? What was the process? You had under 300. What was your highest bench in the gym?
My peak was probably my senior year. I think around the springtime of high school. I hit
before you got out of high school. Yeah.
Before I got out of high school, I weighed 217 and I hit the 440 butt on bench, like perfectly, like well done rep, and I hit my double body weight bench press.
Yeah, because we was always trying to chase the double body weight.
That's right, because you had to earn the black folder back in the day. That was the kids that all hit the double body weight bench.
Yep.
And that was my goal, and I finally hit it in the end. Because I weighed over 200 pounds. It's hard to hit a double body weight bench press.
Yeah, I think most high school kids, you try to get to about 1.75 times their body weight while they're in high school. But if you get the double body weight, you're top 1% of the world anyway.
That was my. I don't know if I could do that right now, but I'm glad I definitely can say that I hit that at one point in time.
Yeah.
Because I hit 470.
But my butt on the bench.
Butt came off.
Yeah.
Butt came off, so it didn't count. Unfortunately, that would have been a nice number.
Yeah, I don't know why I did. Because I've done 500 with my butt off.
Really? Have you done it with?
I've not done it with my butt down.
Really?
I think sometimes I tell people the butt off the bench is kind of like the future method.
The future method?
Yeah, so like if you get 315 with your butt off the bench, we go back down, butt on bench, and work toward it. Your body's already felt it and done it, so mentally and physically you've already done it.
Okay.
So it's just now about resetting, maybe reconfiguring your technique.
Yep. And
then trying to go for something you hit. Then we get 315, we may go to 365 butt off, come back down and go back up. We didn't take that approach with you, did we? Or do you remember the process of going from sub 300 to above 4?
Well, really the first major thing was I had to get over my shoulder injury.
Yeah.
That was phase one. I had to keep doing the physical therapy in really good place I was going to around here. But once my shoulder was up to, workable conditions to start lifting, it's kind of like a slow get back into it because my numbers were low, obviously, after coming off a shoulder injury. Mm-hmm. But the first thing was I had to fix the technique because my technique at the time was like that kind of like standard what guys
So did I
straight out.
Did I get you to arch and kind of touch lower?
Yeah, you taught me your technique. The 45-degree angle, use more of your triceps, where to put your hands on the bar, where to come down, speed. The whole process was revamped, and it was, I remember like it feels awkward at first transitioning because it's almost like a totally different lift.
Yeah,
almost.
people don't really want to change at first.
No.
And like for you and like for me, like I was already strong, so when someone wants to change my technique, I'm like, and I'm getting weaker, I don't really want to accept the change because I don't want to come in here repping 315 and then all of a sudden I'm repping 245.
That's right, because when you change the technique, normally you can't lift as much nearly with the new one, so it's like kind of discouraging.
Yeah.
It started off low, but then I remember we used to call it the explosive bump back in the day, because after like the first month, like normally everyone kind of typically saw like a 40 to 50 pound bench increase in like a single month after changing the technique. Like that's crazy.
But we had to go down before then go forward.
You had to go down first before you
go up.
You had to kind of buy into the process.
I guess it really helped a lot when you saw like some of your friends
Well, I will say I had success stories to go off of. Like I saw that it does work. Because at first, like if it was just me and I didn't know anybody in there, like I'd be like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, why am I going down? Is this really working? But I had a lot of friends that already, got that initial month in, that real fast, quick bump in the beginning. So obviously, I knew that it worked.
Yeah, I had a kid. He came in with a 115 bench.
How old was he?
Sophomore or
in high school?
Yeah, wow. Sophomore. I think he's a sophomore.
Yeah.
115 bench. And his technique was pretty bad, so then we had to go back down, and I started him around 65 pounds or 75 pounds. This was this past year, so I mean, we're talking recent. And he saw some of the 10-year-olds repping more than he was. That's got to be really discouraging for a high school kid.
Oh, I can only imagine.
But after that month, he went from 115 to 145. And I looked at his folder the other day. He's already at 200.
Wow. What a turnaround.
Yeah, in 3 months.
Yeah.
But I think if the kids would just kind of like bite the bullet, it's like, okay, if this is what it's going to take, let's do it. I said it's better to go down in weight, fix your technique. May not lift as much now, but if you get the right technique, your bench will always continue to climb. If you kind of go off of what you want to, that's when you hit plateaus.
Short term versus long term.
Yeah, and they got to see the bigger picture. And I think once they do and they learn, but then now that kid's, if he sees somebody in the gym, he's saying, hey, look, it works, just do it, kind of like you would. You know what I'm saying? So now he's already experienced it. So now his younger brother started coming.
Really?
And
it's funny how that works. Normally, like you see the original siblings come in, and then eventually, like even happened with my little brother. He eventually came here too, and he started way earlier than I did.
Yeah.
I think he started in middle school.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, and I call Hayden's brother Fry Daddy.
Fry Daddy.
Fry Daddy started off. I'd have to try to find his folder. I think he was a 115. I remember him going up quicker almost than a lot of people. He went from 115 to 265 in a year.
Wow.
And I don't
over 2 times,
and it happened very quickly, but I think he came in at such a young age, like you talked about, so we have maturation.
That's the one thing I'm jealous of like, it seemed like, because like when I joined up, you were still kind of new-ish. So like the crowds, like you were getting, like you didn't have younger crowd yet, really. You have like high school, like mid-high school guys.
Yeah, a lot of sophomore.
Yeah. So we were all older, but then like towards the end, like, or even like my early years of college, I noticed that like you were getting the like more middle school, like kids were starting a lot earlier, and then in the end they had, this is a process. So if you start the process earlier, your end results can be better than like, I had like 2.5 years here. Yeah. These kids are having like 5 years here of like, starting early, not developing the bad habits, and then reaping the benefits later. And I'm kind of jealous of it because I wonder what my bench could have been if I started
at such a young age.
You know,
because I think that's a lot of times that I'm trying to tell these parents now. Like I've got 8 and 9-year-olds in here. Yeah. Do you know who Zach Seymour is?
I don't know anyone anymore. To be honest, I've been disconnected for a while now.
I had him. He pulled a 600 deadlift the other day in the gym at 195.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And he jumped a 34-inch vertical with 30 pounds in each hand. He started when he was 8.
That's ridiculous. That's crazy.
You
started here when he was 8?
Yeah.
What's he like?
He's a high school senior now.
High school senior. That's crazy.
600-pound deadlift, 34-inch vertical with 30 pounds in each hand. And he's going to Cornell to play football.
I mean, hey, it worked out. You got a good school.
The coaches at Cornell said, you're one of the most explosive athletes we have ever seen. Well, I think that's what happens when you develop a kid at such a young age. Mm-hmm. You know who else was a freak that started at 8 years old?
Any of the Hauser kids?
Yeah, Colton was the highest vertical jump. Well, in high school, Colton beat all the records, but Cody still never let them beat him regardless of the age.
Yeah.
Cody's highest is a 46.1.
Oh my gosh.
On the vert. Kyle had a 44 something, and Colton had a 44 something. But Colton benched 405.
Colton was a freak. I remember when he was in high school.
For 2.
Yeah.
As a high school junior. 450 is high school junior year at Southern. Yeah.
Why is his name's not up there?
I don't keep track of my record board like I'm supposed to.
Okay. I was about to say, like, 450, like, I always argue about, not to take a shot at Svieka here, but I know his butt came off the bench on his 445 number.
Yeah.
And I took my name off the board.
Yeah, so
I still have that grudge sitting around there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't really pay attention to it, but yeah, you notice Colton's name's not on there.
Hey,
Your
Colton.
name got taken off for some reason, and I don't know why. And
Well, Svieka,
well,
who's the next guy in line?
well, I don't understand, but sometimes I think the board's a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like if you're coming in as a high school kid, you see 470 on the board, you're looking at, there's no way I'm ever going to get that. So should I try, or should I just try, or should I quit? You know,
Or
like
you look at it like that's what I want to beat, and they're going to push themselves harder to get to that point. It depends on the person.
I
you
think
know,
I
the
think
personality.
nowadays mentality of the younger kids is like, I'm not good at it, so I'll just quit.
I don't want to rag on young, be that old guy like, well, we were tougher back in my day. You know?
Yeah, I think y'all's class had a different mentality.
Well, we had a group. We had a good. We were all friends.
Yes,
Close group of
training
guys.
partners really help out a lot. You know, if you're coming in
It
here
wasn't just partners. It was training groups. We had like a solid, I think, 12. Like, and we had Katie and West back in the day too.
but they work too.
But they were there too, and they were strong too.
Yeah, and if you weren't doing stuff, the girls would drag on you.
Yeah.
You may have been stronger.
They used to rag on me for I was undisciplined about doing lower body day. I was that gym stereotype back in the day.
But you had great parents too. That if I had a problem, I'd send Penn or Leslie an email.
Yeah, you did. I was pretty upset. I remember when. Well, that might have been me speeding in the parking lot. There was one time where I was a little upset about it.
Hayden had a red truck, and I couldn't tell if that was a truck or a flash of lightning pulling around the gym.
Just trying to, after a long, high school, really hard.
Really hard, long
really hard life back in high school, and I just needed to get the gym. I was ready to get it going, so obviously I was rushing after, school to get it started.
Hey, I still have that picture. I never posted it on media, but I thought it was pretty funny. Remember that day when you got like maybe within 3 millimeters of the gym wall from hitting it?
I don't think it was a distance. I think I actually was touching the gym wall. But
I don't think so. I think we put a sheet of paper in between the truck and the wall to see if...
I thought I actually hit it. There was one time where I actually bumped your gym wall. There was no damage done to the car or to your gym. But there was one time, that's why I got made fun of so much for my driving, was I did hit your gym here.
Hayden's driving skills. I think, I was talking to your mother the other day. The first time I met your mother is when you locked your keys in the car or something at the second gym.
I think I did do that one time. I do remember locking my keys in the car at one point. I forgot that was here or the original, or I guess that was the second gym.
Yeah, that was the middle gym. That's where
Gym.
the middle gym, the second gym is where you started.
Yeah, I used to the good old garage.
That had an atmosphere though.
It had character.
Yeah.
I think the people made it.
And
what
then
it was.
once we got here and everything got much bigger, you kind of changed a little bit, huh? Jared, let's go back to the old place. Kick all these people out.
Well, that was probably just me being a little nostalgic, I think. But I mean, you have obviously this is like top-notch facility now. The gym was kind of a little more old school. Now you have a lot more equipment. You could really craft a unique workout in this facility as compared to the old place. You were a little limited there.
Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of overhead room. Remember, the ceiling's real low.
Yeah, but I was like, you had like one lat pull machine.
Yeah, plate loaded.
And we used that for tricep press downs too. Like that was like an all-purpose single. Like we all had to. I remember like we all had to share it. Back in the day.
We had to have 20 people in there at one time with needing one machine.
Yep. It wasn't even like the machines were like put the
you had
rod
pins
in there.
selected.
You had to take the plates off, on and off. So
Yeah.
you had varying strain. You came far, Jared.
Did you ever push the prowler?
I did a couple times. I hated the prowler, not as much as I hated the tread. I know it was good for me, but I was a little heavier set in high school.
You were pretty heavy at certain points, but around 214 to 220.
Whoa, I was 250 as a junior in high school. That's heavy.
Yeah, but you were still heavy, but you still ran a 4.8 40-yard dash. I always wanted to try to show you that. Hey,
Not at 250. I think I hit that like 230. I ran, or like 225.
See, I've not really done a good job over the years of tracking body weight changes and 40-yard dash time. I'm not really calculating. I need to start putting in software so I can figure out these patterns. I know when Lasky started coming back training for his pro day, we were trying to increase his relative strength, specifically his strength speed, which means we're moving the bar at like 0.6 meters per second, because we didn't do tendo units with you, did we?
That came way later in the game for me. Tendo was definitely at this new facility, I'm pretty sure, and I think that was maybe towards the back end of you might have actually started doing that when I came back from college, I think. And like you're like, hey, look at this new thing we got. And, I tried getting into it, but it might have been, since I'm not here as I wasn't here as regularly in college, I couldn't like fully, like you do box squats here. Yeah. We don't have boxes where I went to school. So like I kind of would come back and do standard squat. It was kind of, I couldn't fully sync with kind of like the explosive.
Now, I've changed a lot over the years, and speaking of that, because we didn't do box squatting when you first started, did we?
Rarely.
We did rarely?
It always existed, I think, with you, but it wasn't like that. Like we did standard squats.
Well, I showed you the price of how much it costs to have a box and the pad. And
so
at the old gym,
the frame is $200. You got to pay like another $200 for the pad. It's like, how many squat racks you have out there? You're dropping a pretty penny.
Yeah, you got 7. You got 6, 7, 8 squat areas.
Yeah, and then you have 2 different pads. You got the thicker pad. You got the skinnier pad.
Yeah, the skinnier pad's for the young kids that are already on the box before they even squat down.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the boxes changed over the years. I guess at a certain point in time, you're like, man, you don't want to spend the money, but eventually you have to if you want to get the results, because you can't have 10 people lined up behind one box.
Right. Well, that and like lifting is always evolving as we learn more and test things out. So you got to stay somewhat current, especially like in a place like this, you got to kind of keep up with the times.
So what do you think the difference is between, well, you've seen me evolve over the years from 2 or 3 racks to now 8 squat areas, 2 extra benches. I guess always changing, like with something new. The jump mats were not at the original place, were they?
The jumping mat? You actually did have those at the original place, or the second.
Yeah, second place.
I think you at least have one. I think I definitely remember.
But in high school, you never did. But I think the jumping contest started here, because I didn't really learn how to do dumbbell jumps till we got here.
Maybe my memory's not serving me correct, but I thought you might have had the pads.
Well, I think I had the pads at the second gym. Because the reason I originally bought the pads, because of plyometric or whatever, you're supposed to have ground contact of 0.2 tenths of a second or less. Mm-hmm. And so what we did at the second gym a lot, and if you remember, we did the plyo swing.
Oh yeah.
Where you sit and you kick off the wall.
We did do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A good bit. I remember McDougal doing it all the time. And so the only way, I think I originally tested the vertical on the Vertec, where you jump up and hit.
Smack the thing.
Yeah. And so we got to a point to where when you reach up, I've got it marked where the bottom slat is 20 inches away from your hand off the marking of it. And so, but then by the time I adjusted it for 12 people, we're spending an hour just adjusting the stupid thing for that. Right. So then I got the jump mats. I know Nike uses jump mats. I know some of these colleges use it. So, and if you don't ever jump on them, you don't know how to jump on them. Right. You can have a bad score.
Yes.
And some people crack on them whether they're transferable to a different Vertec or whatever other vertical jump. I don't really care if it's transferable. I only care if it's consistent.
Right.
Because if I'm consistently beating a number, so if I come in here and I get a 20-inch vertical on the jump mat, then next time I get a 20.5, it's giving me 20-point-something readings. Mm-hmm. And so if I know if I can just beat a little bit per time that I'm here, each little bit's going to equal a lot by the end of each month.
Yeah. And
so I wanted to figure out how to push, because I saw people would do depth jumps, would step off the box, land, and jump up. Mm-hmm. And I got so frustrated with people. I said, "You're not jumping, you're hopping." And they thought they were trying. And so then I tried a video, and they didn't get it until I got the mats. Once I got the mats, they'd fall down off the box, land, explode up. Then they'd have instant or visual feedback. And so then they started trying a lot harder.
Giving a number helps.
Yeah, and so I think the thing with the Tendo unit, as far as we started squatting for different rates of speed, that made kids want to squat more.
Right.
And as they saw, then squatting was a game and not a task.
I remember when I first tried your Tendo, is that what they're called, Tendo units?
Yeah.
It was actually pretty humbling to see how slow I squatted. Like, I remember, like, you told me, like, you need to be, I forgot what range, like, a good squat is supposed to be within, but, like, I was way out of the range.
Yeah, because I think people think that they're doing the weight, this is easy, Jared, this is easy. Yeah, but if you're not hitting that certain rate of speed, it's not whether squatting the weight's easy, it's whether you're hitting that speed with the weight.
It's another component to just being able to get low enough and then get back up, you know. And it makes it more challenging, but it obviously. But
you have instant reading and instant feedback. Then what if you're hitting your squats right? If you're consistent with that, you're doing your jumps and everything like you're supposed to. Then at the end of the month, it's kind of like a lab. It's really set up like a lab. You got all the weights and stuff over here on this side of the gym. You step over there to the turf.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a testing area. So we're going to go configure something through the month. All right, let's see if this works. Let's go test.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different things that people don't even know. Is like the 45 hyper is directly correlated or related to the broad jump.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
so
why we do that?
What's that?
I didn't even know that's why we.
Oh, I do it for us to get extra lower back work in because I don't test my broad jump anymore. But I took Katie pushed herself on it, and she got to 8.4 broad jump.
Wow.
At 150 pounds.
So you had Katie in here the other day, right?
Yeah, she's been on here.
I haven't seen her.
She lives in Cincinnati now.
Really?
Yeah. You're in Texas.
Not necessarily by choice, but yeah, I am in Texas.
Yeah, and Mikey's in Minnesota. We're so spread out all over the world. Yeah.
That's where everybody is at? Wow.
Yeah. How old are you, Hayden?
24.
24. Man, I had some twins on the other day, and I couldn't get over. I think they're 26. We're 9 years apart, and I was like, holy cow. You know, I didn't realize how old they were starting here when they were sophomores or freshmen in high school.
Yeah.
Now they're 26 years old, and I'm sitting there like,
where'd the time go?
yeah, what the freak happened?
I'll say, well, you grew a beard, you know, over the years. That's new.
Yeah, that only happened since December.
You're changing, I guess. Yeah.
Got to always change to try to figure things out. But we went from a 405 bench to 440. How did we?
That was hard.
No, let's go this direction. What's the difference between coming to the gym and going and working out at school?
Going to work out, like you're talking about, like back when I was in high school.
Yeah, in high school, because I think you're like when I was in high school, I went trained with an Olympic lifting coach.
Okay. That sounds like they're qualified.
Yeah, so yeah, he had 2 Olympians and trained 2 national championship teams.
But Olympians do different style lifting than what, you know, the typical football player is going to want to do.
Well, the reason I went somewhere is because I always wanted to be good at everything I did. And so I wanted to be good. People could out-power clean me. And so I hate getting beat.
Right.
And so, I can't stand it. So I wanted to do or get better at lifting. So I just wanted to go in. My whole thought process in high school was work out. And so I would always train, but I didn't have a systematic approach to how I did it. I would go in and I would work out, but sometimes I'd go in bench 315 for 6, and sometimes I'd have trouble getting 295 for 3. And I was like, how am I working out and then getting weaker? I said, this don't make any freaking sense.
Yeah.
And I would just get so frustrated with myself because I couldn't understand the whole point of, all right, I'm working out, I'm consistent. I would go, during the summers, I worked at a hardware store. On my lunch break, I was so consistent with working out. This won't happen nowadays. But my high school football coach gave me a key to the weight room.
Wow.
In high school. And so I could go during my lunch because high school was not open during summers like they are now. We didn't start summer conditioning until after the 4th of July week, where they're starting it now in June.
I don't think it really ever ends, really.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more year round now. And so I'd work at a hardware store. So I would go to the high school, work out in high school during my lunch, and grab food on the way back and eat it while I was at work. So I spent my lunchtime working out, and I would go in and I'd try to work on power clean, and I would ask the football coach, hey, how do you, and they would just kind of like, no, you do this. And I knew by watching because I would always, like in the summers, I would watch World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
And if the Olympics were on, I was always intrigued by the power cleans because I was just intrigued always about strength.
Yeah.
And so I saw them lift, and that ain't right. And so I don't know what happened one day while I was sitting in high school. I was sitting in physics class, and someone said our physics teacher used to lift weights, and he was a small dude, and it didn't look like he lifted, kind of like Kyle or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Or super strong, and you don't realize it. And so I started asking him questions. Then he told me about a guy, the Olympic coach. Mm-hmm. And so then I went to the Olympic coach, and I started training there. And my power clean went from 245 to 300.
Oh, wow. That's a good jump.
I was 190 pounds. My bench press went from, my freshman year, I did 205 bench. My sophomore year, I did 250. My junior year, I did 275.
I mean, you're having stable increases.
But I was pissed.
Over a whole year, 25-pound increase isn't that much.
If you came here, I need to try to increase your bench 10 pounds a month.
I will say, if I came here, that wouldn't be acceptable.
But
that wouldn't be acceptable here. 25-pound increase over a whole year, that's not good enough.
No, and that's my thought process back then. Like, okay, then I went to the Olympic coach. My power cleans went up a good bit. When I was at Memphis, I was able to clean 315 sets of 3.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And then my bench went from, I think, 275 to 330.
Yeah.
Within a year.
Yeah.
So,
I'll say, because you need when you're under 300 pounds and you have at least a decent sized frame, like you should be making bigger gains.
Yeah, but I went up I went from 205 to 250.
Yeah.
A 50-pound increase in a year is fine.
That's
but
pretty good.
Then 25. Then I went from 275 to 330.
That's really good.
You know, that's a 55-pound increase.
Yeah.
That's better than my beginning years when you should be getting stronger faster. Mm-hmm. And so then I knew there was a systematic approach to as how you're dosed with sets, reps, when, and how, instead of just going in there. I was a lot leaner when I was in high school because I worked so hard.
Yeah.
But my strengths were not moving. And so then I learned how to go from point A to point B. And then I went from 330 to 365 as a college freshman.
That's really good.
You know, so that's another pretty big jump. Mm-hmm. But then when I got to Memphis, I stayed at 365 all 4 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, did you do like a typical football program?
I still didn't understand how to program and dose my set. You know, like this lifting weight crap is just kind of like prescribing medicine. Mm-hmm. If I prescribe you the wrong sets, reps, and wrong rest intervals, I'm screwing with your recipe or your prescription.
There's definitely an approach that you need to take. You can't just be like a mad dog in the gym, just kind of wing it over time. Like like you said, like if you just go to the gym and you work out a lot, you're gonna be skinny, you'll be lean, and that's what most Americans go for, I would say. But if you're looking for strength training, you really got to focus in on particulars.
And so I was not a bad lifter, 365 bencher, 300 plus
That's
power.
Good. You're over 3 plates. Is always
and I had I had a 31.5-inch vertical in college, but now I've got a 37-inch vertical. Mm-hmm. I learned so much more after, but the whole point is I thought I already knew a lot because I was already so strong to a point. And so at that point I started trying to help others get to where I was at. But I didn't realize how much I didn't know until I started learning.
Right.
Then I realized, man, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And so, but I thought I knew because I was strong.
Yeah, you already had the gift, you know.
Yeah, but I felt that I worked at it. So when I started trying to tell kids what to do and stuff like that, like I tried to help my brother out. I tried to help other teammates when I was at Memphis, and sometimes their stuff wasn't moving, and I was getting frustrated. They didn't want me to help them
Right.
And I'd get frustrated myself because they're not moving. So then that intrigued me to dig in deeper. Why? And so then when people started here, then when I got out of school and I started opening the gym, people's vertical jumps were not moving as quickly as I wanted to because I don't like a little increase.
Right.
If you're paying me dollars to help you get better.
Right. You gotta provide a product.
And if I'm not helping you get better or what you want, there's no point.
Right.
You know, that's the whole point of why we test. I need to make sure that whatever we're doing over here has a positive test result.
Right.
You know, and I'll get frustrated with like other gyms around here that can say they're performance places or sport performance or whatever we are.
Well, they solely focus on just the running, the calisthenics part of it.
Yeah.
When there's the whole component of strength training, like you can't just run and then be a good athlete. You have to incorporate a proper weight program, and a weight program will corresponds with your speed if you do it correctly. That's why, like when you do the tendo, the fast squat, that's going to help you when you're actually.
But a lot of people don't get that. You know, they think if you're lifting weights, you're getting stronger. Yeah, you are if you're a beginner. But there's going to be a point in time, like with me, even you, when you were in high school, we got to a point to where our stuff was not even moving. My stuff would even go down sometimes.
When you start hitting that really heavy, like for me, it's like when I hit 405,
I think things
start slowing down.
That's because we're getting closer to your double body weight. Yeah. So I think once you get close to that relative portion of your strength, and I think people will say, "Oh man, this kid squats 500, but he weighs 400. He's not a good squatter."
Yeah.
And so he's not going to be very fast.
Well, you got to count they weigh 400 pounds, but like how much of that's actually muscle.
Yeah.
That kind of plays a portion too. It's like how much what if they were lean, just muscle, like how much would they really weigh? And that's kind of like what I go off of, because it's a height to muscular kind of build ratio to a certain degree.
Yeah. So I guess once you're strong, like if he was weighing 400 and I got him squat 800, he'd be able to move pretty good.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, there's the research, and I started learning is if the athletes that squat 2.1 times their body weight are significantly faster than those that squat 1.9.
Really?
And so if we were
specific too.
Yeah, if you group these athletes from 2.1, 1.9, these right here beat these over here. And so, and I was looking at characteristics of elite shot putters. Okay, elite shot putters are around 5 to 550 pounds in the bench. But these are elite. We're talking.
That's like Olympic, right?
Yeah, we're talking Olympic. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, characteristics. All right, this person has these characteristics. Okay, so I said, man, everybody wants to learn how to get faster, and people think that you're either born with this speed or you're not.
Some people are natural. It's just like strength. Some people are naturally stronger and faster, but you could definitely train and get pretty good.
Well, I had the twins were on this podcast a couple of weeks ago. One twin was naturally stronger than the other one,
Right.
but the weaker one worked harder, ending up passing the stronger one by the same deficit.
Really? Wow.
And so that lets me know, okay, this genetic crap that we always hear and talk about, it's not really genetics. If you go into the grocery store and you're looking at these families, and if all of them are big and heavy, it's not genetics. It's look in their shopping cart.
Yeah.
And see what they're doing, right?
I think that's an aspect that we really haven't touched about is diet.
Yeah.
You can't just keep eating as a high schooler, my diet was awful.
Yeah, Colton would eat brownies for freaking breakfast, and I was like, man, when I was in high school, my mom and dad, when I would come, I'd always have a lot of cake.
Yeah, I did enjoy my cake in high school.
But
ice cream.
But I could never really get. Yeah, I'd eat cake and ice cream. I would eat waffles with syrup and butter.
Wendy's, make the fast food.
Yeah, I didn't say this,
so
but
bad for you.
When I would go work out in high school, on my way back to work after I worked out, I'd go to Mickey D's.
Oh.
I'd get 2 double quarter pounders with cheese.
Yeah.
Supersize when they had supersize days.
Well, I think they sell large size now, but they don't call it after the movie. They don't call it supersize anymore.
But you can be better than what you think you are. Like Brooks ran a 5.4 40-yard dash.
Brooks became a monster.
And I was talking to some other people. It's the training. Once I figured out these characteristics of strength, the Olympic lifters Olympic sprinters like Bolt, Tyson Gay and whoever else, we don't see them in the weight room.
No.
But Bolt's known for being in the weight room all the time.
Right.
Bolt does 900 glute ham raises a month. So if you're looking at how many lifts you're doing per month or how many lifts you're doing per week, then you calculate that up to a total month volume. That equals change a lot. You know, like a lot of sometimes that's what Louis and Westside Barbell, the volume of the accessory work will yield strength.
It's funny because like I remember, so back at Kings Point, you know, my good old alma mater now, I was one of the rugby captains, and I had this big debate because I come from a lifting background when not everyone kind of bought into that. So about half the team would go to the gym on a regular basis because I would really preach it. And half the team kind of believed in this, like, get out in the field, just kind of get moving. Kind of like what you say.
Kind of like these other gyms, they'll want you to go move.
They want you to move versus they think lifting's not that important. And it's funny because in the end, the guys that I had in the gym regularly for lifting were the best players. They scored the most points. You know, like just doing that weight training is so key, especially for contact sports. Yeah. But I mean, realistically, for every sport. But like just having that power, and if you can translate it to speed, get that. We always talk about the fast twitch muscles. I remember back when I was here, if you can get that too, it's
all about targeting the right muscles. You know, like you have to lift heavy to target type 2 fibers, and you got to lift the light weight at a maximum speed to target type 2 fibers, and you also have to do some type of inertial exercise to get. So there's different things to do in order to target those type of fibers. And so if you're training and you're not if you're going in and working out and just exercising or running, like you brought apart, if you're just going in and doing the cone drills, it's kind of like they're just working on the running mechanics or the running technique.
What I used to preach to the guys is like the guys that did the cones, they're maximizing the potential at what they have at that current moment. But going to the gym expands how far your potential can be.
The gym is your ceiling.
Yeah. You raise the ceiling. You still got to do. I'm not saying you can't. Still got to do your cone drills, but you got to like the gym will allow you to get so much farther in your progression.
It's kind of like just driving your car. You can take your car and drive it around and around and around if you want to. And if you're a race car driver, you'd be really good at manipulating the course or just around the circular track once you learn how to shave your time off. But the best way to shave more time off, anything you do, is to increase increase the horsepower. And the car is going to be much faster. And so once I learned that 2.1 always beats the 1.9, then I looked at characteristics of elite sprinters. They squat 2.5 times their body weight. Okay.
2.5. That's
yeah.
Good.
And so once you get now the key is we got these characteristics that we have to try to get to. Okay. So now we're trying to get to 2.1, 2.5. Only a few people in gym. I've had a couple people squat triple body weight.
Wow.
But there were also 44 plus inch verticals.
Yeah.
And so it's just like a rocket. If you got leg power, you can come off the ground. And so once I figured out, and I started thinking about that. So the key to athletics is increasing your relative strength. So you got to make these athletes stronger relative to their body weight. And so then we started doing powerlifting. What's so significant about powerlifting is that they have weight classes. So if I can make Hayden, Cody, Kyle, whoever stronger within that weight class, so we go compete, that competition then becomes your weight training.
Okay.
And so then Spieka did powerlifting too, but we also worked on our explosive stuff like our jumps. We'd have to run, we'd do our tread sled. We would do some other athletic things where I tell you, powerlifters not going to go run or sprint because they don't have to play a sport.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say this is in your niche here. It's like you're training athletes. You know, to play for sport. There is people like I kind of lean more towards the powerlifting than training to play football. To be honest with you, at one point in time, but that is kind of what you did. So you start your powerlifting team, and then that's how you kind of got people to buy more into just. Power.
I think that kind of hurt because all they do is powerlift over there. But what I noticed is just the same thing that you noticed while you was at Kings Point. At the end of each month, the people on Team Explosive still had to test. I would say they wanted to test, and I was like, why the heck y'all want to test? Anyway, they would test. They ended up being the best test subjects.
Really?
Spieka jumped 30-something inch vertical at 270.
That's pretty good.
And then Spieka did that. Alex Yelverton, Big Alex, he started shaving his 40-yard times. And we were not focused necessarily on always all the running.
Yeah.
We was focused, all right, we got this meet coming up, let's get better at this. But at the end of the month, those athletes were still getting better at their jumping and at their sprinting, because I was increasing their relative strength. You know, like, I had Alex Yelverton, he squatted 661 as a 17-year-old high school kid. In competition, not at the gym. You're talking
that is absurd.
You're talking a sanctioned meet.
Yeah.
Colton has also squatted over 600, and so is Spieka. But the lightest one was Colton, so that's why Spieka.
I was like, Colton there was not an ounce of
fat on
extra weight on him.
Yeah, and so that's why Spieka was in the 30s in the vertical. I think Spieka actually probably ended up running a 4.940. He turned out to be pretty explosive.
Yeah.
But what happened with him is, like you said, we put the tendo unit on you, and you couldn't believe how slow you were. And so he had a high absolute squat max, but his strength speed, the rate at which he moved the weight was real low.
That's what messed me up. Is like I was still able to squat a lot of weight, but I was just slow about it.
Yeah.
Like I could even do like a lot of reps per set. You know, it's not like I was getting fatigued. I just was not fast.
Yeah.
And you know, as you know, I know it helps to be fast on your lifts for like getting like your max in.
Yeah.
Like that translate that like that's more key, more important for athletics.
Yeah. And so my powerlifters ended up being better testers.
Yeah.
And just kind of like your people at Kings Point, the ones that were doing the weight training actually ended up being the better athletes.
Yep.
But how do you think you get over that stigma of lifting weights is bad? Because I've been trying and I test and I've got proof over and over and over again. But I'll have athletes from the local area. There's a gym that's moving right across the street from me now.
Really?
Pretty close. I mean, we ain't gonna say any names. And
I didn't know that.
Well, this is going to be, I could take a golf ball and hit him from here.
Oh, it's like they're going to be across from the fire station?
Yeah, almost down kind of. Anyway, you got that place. They don't even have enough room to test a 40-yard dash.
What are you going to do?
And so then there's another place down this area. They don't have enough room to test. And these people have been competing with me for a couple of years. But people go to them because they're doing they're doing the fluff stuff, I call.
Yeah, well, parents are looking just for their kids to get faster,
Yeah.
probably for the most part.
Yeah, and
You know, they don't realize, like, cause they're probably sitting there thinking, like, okay, my kid lifts weights at the high school, you know, they're not doing that much speed training, like, I want some, that's originally how I started off, is I originally didn't come here, I think it was a kind of middle school, I think even freshman year, like, I used to do kind of like just the standard, like, just speed enhancement training programs, like with those like outside guys. Like, I mean, I got like a little faster.
But did they ever test you, or you just feel you got faster?
We did do some testing, you know, but it was kind of, it just wasn't. I plateaued eventually, and eventually it was just like a way for my parents to get me to do some cardio after a while, you know.
All right, so they're thinking, the parents are thinking they're getting the right weight training school.
Yep.
And so why come to explosive when they're lifting weights?
Exactly.
So I need to go to this place over here that's just going to do speed training.
Yep.
But the people that I've had, there's 2 places down the street, and I've had 2 different athletes from the gym that are here now. They were at those 2 different places, and they both ran the same thing in the 40-yard dash, or the 60, and they're baseball players, so they ran the same 60-yard dash they did a year later.
Really? Yeah.
And so that, and the parents don't know until I said, look, you know, because that one kid was here. Of course, we lift weights, yeah, but we're explosive. You know, I know the name is explosive mechanics, but these athletes are a for real example of what explosive is.
Right.
So I had this kid, I tracked his numbers. He went from like a 5.7 to a 5.1 40-yard dash.
Wow.
Left.
Like he came here, he left you.
He went from a 5.7 to a 5.1. So he was freaking improving, and I was tracking.
Why did he leave? I mean,
probably I don't know.
Yeah.
Then he came back a year later. So he left in November, was last test month. So he came back a year later.
Still 5.1.
5.1, and I took a picture of that, and I sent it to his dad. He said, I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
And so I don't that really gripes me because I can't figure out, while I'm producing and I'm showing you stuff.
Maybe the parents think it's like a fluke or something, you know, like and they don't believe it, then they leave and they probably realize later type thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think what a lot of people don't, this is kind of like, I don't want to just keep ragging on the programs I've been a part of. Like, they're good, but like, you know, if you're running a high school football team, right, that's a lot of kids, and like, you have a lot of coaches, like, they, you know, they might have taken some courses in weight training, but like, they're not professional.
They're not getting
you know?
paid on results or not.
Yeah, so like they're you know, they're doing more general, like, large group training, so it's not as specific. You know, it's kind of like, you know, you follow like the percentages like on the chart. You know, you do this week. It's a cookie cutter plan.
But in high school,
and it's not as.
But if I wanted
effective.
if I wanted you to come here and bench 365, 4 sets of 5,
Yeah.
we're going to track that. But if I wanted you to go to high school and you saw on your chart, in high school you could pretty much choose your weight, right?
Depends on like we.
Because you could skip some sets. It's a lot easier to mess around there.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think part of it is like when you. In high school, like you were forced as a football player to be on like in that class, right?
Yeah.
Like you had to do it. But like when you come here, that is like you. I think there's something about volunteering for something. Like I signed up for that, you know, like to do this.
Yeah,
extra.
and if you come here, you at least want to be here.
Yeah, there's a reason why you're here. Like you're willing to pay money for it. That's normally a big telltale thing. Like if you're willing to pay money, like you know you're pretty serious about it. But like some kids like aren't that serious about it. They're just kind of going through the motions at like the high school. You know, like realistically, like you should get stronger doing like kind of like a typical high school football program, but you're not going to get the result. Like if you stay disciplined, you'll get like a little stronger.
Yeah, some of the kids. I even had some kids that were here. They got better in the 40-yard dash, and this is kind of proof that just because you get older, you don't get faster. I got him down to a 5 flat. Came back 2 years later, ran a 5.3.
Oh, yeah. That's brutal.
And so then once he ran a 5.3, he didn't come anymore. He went to another place and worked on speed training.
Yeah.
Speed training is not what you need. That's why.
Speed training is like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, know, or kind of like
on a wound that really needs stitches, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, it helps a little bit, but it's not, like, that's not going to be your problem solver, you know?
Yeah, and typically the people that do that, squatting's hard.
Squatting's not fun. There's a reason why a lot of people skip leg day. You know, it's definitely not. You know, it's not glamorous. You know, people like upper body because they look good. It's mirror and stuff. You know, but
when you put that bar on your back and you know you got to go down and somehow get up, because when you put a bar on your back, you're squatting sometimes and you don't think you're going to get back up, and so that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so, 5-year-olds will go run around a cone.
You can do cone training in your backyard.
Yeah.
You don't need, I mean, it's better to do it with a professional trainer timing you and teaching a technique and stuff like that. But like realistically, like you can go in your backyard and do cone drills.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the car scenario. You're only going to get as fast as the horsepower you have. You know, the strength is your ceiling.
Strength is your ceiling.
And,
that's right.
And so the higher you raise that ceiling, I think the better off you're going to be. And I know we're kind of getting off on different tangents.
Oh, we're all over the place, but that's all right. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. You know, I've had a lot of experiences over the years.
Yeah, and that's good. I think that's why it's very valuable. You started here, you left here, and you went to Kings Point, right?
I had to go.
Let's go on your journey.
Oh,
no, let's talk this over too, because again, this pisses me off.
We're going to start from square one. From my high school positions to
let's go over playing the wrong position in high school.
Yeah, so hopefully if kids in high school listen to this, like they kind of maybe get some advice from my mistakes that I made.
Yeah,
kind of along this.
Because I've talked like Colton played the wrong position.
Yeah.
Second state in sacks.
Yeah.
He was the fastest linebacker at Michigan camp. He had the highest vertical jumper. He was the highest vertical jumper in the country. We're talking nationwide, because this was Nike Spark Rating opening to where you have to be invited to go to it.
Yeah.
And so they went from here to California, to Chicago, to New York, to Miami, Orlando. They went all over the country. Over 40,000 kids. Colt was number 1.
That's crazy. That's crazy to think about like that.
But not only that, this is all those years of studying and trying to figure out this jump crap. I had 1, 7, and 9. number 1 vertical jumper, the number 7, and the number 9. Had 3 in the top 10.
In your own house here.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, 7 in the top 50.
That's pretty cool.
11 in the top 100. And that lets you know that I've been figuring out the jump training because no one, you got one gym here, you got 11 kids out of top 100 in the nation with the highest verticals.
That's awesome. Should get that on a plaque somewhere, you know, like you should start tracking your accomplishments like that.
Yeah,
You know?
it's, but how do you tell that to some people? You know, like that's why I hope like the point of these podcasts and stuff, you know, people may be hearing me more worldwide and more nationwide than these local people here in Peachtree City, Georgia.
Well, you've had some big names come through here.
I've
You've had
had
professional NFL players, or not, I shouldn't say NFL players, you know.
Yeah,
come
but
through
check
here.
this out. 6 professional athletes that started, or 6 athletes that started me as a high school are now professional athletes. 6 professional athletes started off here.
Yeah.
Not including the ones like Lutz, who kicks for the Saints, Desmond Ringer, who plays for NBA China. That's 6, that's 7, 8, that's 2 extra that started with me when they were in college.
NBA, did you say NBA China?
NBA China, yeah.
Oh, that's,
And Allie Davenport, you remember Allie? Well, she plays professional volleyball in Sweden.
really?
You get paid to go play over there. Chris Longoria plays in Germany, professional overseas basketball.
Wow. I didn't realize that we had that kind of international network here.
Yeah, it's
know?
it's kind of crazy that. And I was Ben Baggett's going to enter the MLB pretty soon. One of the Wren brothers plays baseball, MLB. There's just a numerous amount of people that start here that are now professional athletes. But I guess I don't really say that a whole lot, you know.
That would be my number 1 talking point.
But you know, like sometimes parents will come in here. What can you do for my son? Hey, what can you do for my son? Well, I've kind of started to flip. What can you do for me?
Yeah.
You know, I get so frustrated. Look,
You can only make a high school kid do so much. You can show them the way, but they got to do it.
yeah, look at the wall of the signings I've been to. I've got 50 flags on the wall out there.
Yeah, you do. It's grown over the years.
For 50 flags, but that's not including like
There's double people on the same flag. You know,
yeah,
some
like
people
you
go-
had Jordan.
I've had a few go Georgia Tech, right?
Yeah, I've had probably about 8 people go to Tech.
Yeah.
Then you have Cole Trollinger, remember him?
Yeah.
Him, Katie Sowers.
Auburn. Well, Cole with the Auburn, I think.
No, Cole went to UGA. Cole, Katie, and Wicks Patton. That's 3 at UGA.
Yeah.
Then you had that same year we had Ansley Smith and Jordan Watson both go to Kentucky.
Yeah, that's right.
Then you got Danielle Chanel that both went to Elon. You have Joe and Garrett Houston go to Army.
Go to Army. Well, you had an Auburn guy that year. Then you had, was that the same year? No, that was like a year or 2 after Alex Barr going to NC State.
Or maybe it's so.
It's all blurring together.
Yeah, because once
You know?
once you get to that decade mark, it all seems the same.
Yeah, all ballpark around each other, you know.
Yeah, and so it's just kind of grown, but it's frustrating to have had that success, and still people don't believe you. Like they'll come in, they'll see this on the wall, they'll see the flags go up and things like that, and the other places around here don't have that.
Right.
But yet they'll come in here, they'll look at all that. I had a parent come in with her younger child, and I was luckily one of the days it was basically me and that kid.
Yeah.
She didn't like that. I put a bar on his back.
What? What do you mean?
I was squatting the kid. Well, he needs to have perfect form before you do that. I said no. I said
You need to have the bar on to get the form.
I said you got to load them to figure out where the weak points are so you know what to work on.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I got a trainer and I do bodyweight exercises. Oh yeah, well you're probably
Wow, bodyweight exercise. You must really know what you're talking about.
yeah, you're probably as athletic as a sheet of paper.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong about it, like, you know, doing some pull-ups
No.
and stuff like that.
Well,
you
that
know?
stuff, yeah. But body weight still is bad. Like even if you're able to do pull-ups, load yourself. Can you do a pull-up with 100 pounds tied to you?
I've never tried, but yeah, I see
But
what you're saying.
you know what I'm saying?
There's
Like
ways to do it.
people want to get better. It's like you can do 100 push-ups and you can't bench 300.
it's funny, like I actually have that problem. Like I can bench a ton of weight, but like I struggle to do like 60 push-ups. And, like, doing like the military school that I did, like it's actually kind of a struggle for me over these years.
I had a bet with someone the other day. How fast do you think I can do 50 push-ups?
Wow, I don't even know.
I did 50 push-ups in 28 seconds.
28 seconds. I was about to say it's at least one per second, at least.
And I was knocking them out, but I can't do 100. I'll burn out too quick.
Yeah.
I don't ever know if I've ever done 100 push-ups in my life.
I don't think I have.
But I've benched 450 plus, so
Yeah.
But you got those people that can do 100 push-ups and can't bench 3. Or some of them can't even bench 2. And that's kind of what I was kind of going to get at with the body weight exercises. Just because you can do a lot with your body weight, don't mean you're going to have any absolute power.
No.
And so what's the point in doing 100? So like if you're a police or fire or military or whatever, and you got to carry someone up some steps, and you do 100 push-ups, but you don't have any real absolute strength.
Good luck.
Yeah, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
Like you could take a strong man and give him 100 pounds dumbbells in each hand, go right up some stairs.
Yeah.
You take an average person, you give them 100 pounds, they're not going to get very far up the stairs.
Right. Well, it's different kinds of stuff, But
and it really depends on. And when I talk on stuff, I want to take things into a direction as far as human performance. I'm not a fitness person.
No.
And so if you want
fitness, that's CrossFit. That's its own.
Yeah, or that's the other places around here that think they're performance places. They are fitness places. They do a better job at fitness things than I do.
Whipping someone into shape.
Yeah, because that's kind of what they do. And I've heard people that were here, went there, come back. It's kind of like calisthenics. Yeah. Kind of like what you said, body weight cones and stuff like that. Get you in shape. But what's the point in being in shape if you're not any better as an athlete?
Yeah.
You could be the most in shape football player and get ran over every time. You're not going to be a very good player. And people crap on this. Hey, Hayden's a big, strong dude, but that's not transferable to the field. Well, number one,
that's a lie. I've always
that is a lie, and they got you out of position.
That.
They got you, and you know what? The coach can't freaking coach. Yeah. If I can make you physically better as far as your physical performance, as far as your jumping, your running, your strength, your stamina, we're getting all that better. A coach, a football coach, should be able to take and teach you a technique, or if you're not very good at that technique, mold you to where you can do what they want. And they don't do that. And so I think that's very frustrating because, oh, you're strong in the weight room. Yeah, but I can't help it, you're an idiot coach.
Yeah.
Because they should be able to teach you skill. I gave you the physical ability to perform tasks. I'm not a skills coach. I can give you the physical ability to hit I can hit a golf ball far. I got 125 miles an hour swing speed on my club, which is right along with Tiger and Rory. I'm the same thing, same club head speed as these professional golfers. But guess what? My skill freaking sucks. I can get that club around at that same rate of speed they are, but my accuracy and my skill is way below par. I'm not very good at that skill because I don't practice it.
No, well, obviously you gotta.
Okay, so now I have the physical ability. Okay, and you got these people watching Golf Channel, and I have even tweeted at them sometimes because it pisses me off. Weights are bad. Look at McElroy, Tiger, and all these bringing.
Well, Tiger was like the first golf. I don't know much about golf, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Tiger was the first guy that
you can really think of to lift weights.
Started lifting and getting the golfers look a little more athletic.
Yeah, and so that's the whole point I'm getting at. Is you got these old people. Or older, or whatever I say, I don't care. It's going to be that they want more club head speed, so they're buying all these gadgets. Mm-hmm. They're going to this place down the street that's doing these cone drills. They're buying the gadgets, but they're not doing the real work. It's a strength training. I'm not a naturally born golfer, but I can swing. Same thing as Tiger and all them can. I can hit the fairway, but I can't hit the fairway consistently. So what I'm saying is my physical ability is there.
It's the ceiling.
And my skill's not. So if I'm going to get better at golf, I've already got the physical ability to swing the club at the rate of speed I need to.
You just got to get on the course. You got to start to, there's.
It's kind of like football. You got the physical ability, you got the strength to hold your own on the field. You got the physical ability to run faster and jump higher. So if jumping's correlated with explosiveness, if you can jump, you're explosive. Okay, so you need to be quick off the line. Well, you got to have explosive power. If you can take that squat rate and move that at a certain rate of speed, within that short time for the box to stand up, you're off that line that much quicker. All right, so I didn't give you the physical ability.
Now you just gotta learn the game.
Yeah,
you know?
but that's going to come with the coach.
That should come way easier than the.
It takes a lot. Well, you said earlier, it takes a long time to get strong.
It takes a long time to get strong. Like really, like top tier strong. It takes years.
Yeah, and people don't.
There's a reason why like people's like peak strength is like what, like early 30s. I'm pretty sure it is like what it is. You know?
I don't know. I'm stronger in my 30s than I was in my 20s.
Yeah. There's all those years of staying the course, you know.
Yeah, being consistent with it, and I don't know. I get really frustrated with people knocking strength when they don't know strength.
People say that famous quote like we were talking about earlier, then they obviously do not know what they're talking about.
Let's say the weak will always criticize the strong. The weak will always criticize the strong, and they're going to make you out to be the evil one when they're the ones that ain't helping you. You know, I tell people, like, if I made you better than what I was at the same point in career in my life as a high schooler. You were stronger.
Well, you went to school, you studied this craft. You know, you're able to, you know, you've learned, and you're able to give me the next better knowledge that you've had at the time.
Well, yeah, it's my job.
People are always getting stronger overall, like from like age group to age group, because we are learning more.
Yeah, my job as a coach is to make people better than what I was.
Right.
You know, all three of mine were examples like Cody, Kyle, and Colton. They all outjumped me. They all outran me as far as running speed, and they all outlifted me. They crushed my numbers. I would have been embarrassed to be, and I was a strong kid in high school, and they would have killed me.
Well.
You know, so it's kind of like, all right, I did my job, help them. Same thing. Your brother was stronger than I was when I was in high school. You were stronger than my job. I only have this small window of high school, unless I do have them when they start younger. You know, like if they're starting at 8, 9, 10 years old, those are going to be your freaks.
Yeah. Well, you gotta be careful with the younger ones, right? 'Cause, I mean, like this is like one of those quotes, like, can you inhibit a young person's growth by making them lift too much weight, like studying the growth plates or whatever? I've heard that.
Yeah, but the National Strength Conditioning Association, you can even max them out as young as 6.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, let me tell you that, and we had a West Side Film here. They're doing the documentary on West Side.
Is that done yet? I was wondering when that was going to come out.
Michael actually contacted me. Michael Frey, the producer of the film, will probably come to the gym and show it.
Really?
And so there's some legal stuff on there that I'm not going to cover. As far as why it's not out yet, I'll let him talk about that for the people that do come here and listen to it.
I mean, I'm sure it takes time, I guess. You know.
Yeah, and he's been screwed and he's had a hard road to get it done. And so what we were talking about is these young kids, this weight. There's no such thing as too heavy. It's either fast or slow. And so weight's measured in velocity. And so it's kind of like, if I have an 8-year-old little girl in here, which I do, and you were sitting here, she were to drop the bar and hit her on the chest, is it going to kill her?
No. Probably not.
Is it going to hurt her? It don't even hurt.
Yeah.
If they fell with a bar or 65 pounds on it, is it hurt? No. If I were to go bench press 405 for a couple of reps and it would fall on my chest, I'm going to be the one in serious danger.
Oh, well, yeah, it hits a certain point, you know, like.
Yeah, but the thing is like the kids are so much more resilient to injury.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's like.
You get older, you gotta start stretching more now.
How many broken bones have been in this gym? None. It's the virtual force. It's the impact forces that get you hurt. You would have to do something really stupid to fracture a growth plate here. Maybe some forced reps or some bodybuilding stuff.
I didn't know if it was breaking. I don't know much about
It's the growth plate, so you don't want to fracture.
I didn't know if it was breaking it or if it was like, you know, the stress on it.
Well,
I didn't know if
the growth plates are at the end of the long bones in the body. And so for me to break the femur at the tip end at that specific spot, lifting weights, it's going to be really freaking tough to do. Yeah. But look at, oh man, I was talking to this parent the other day. This kid in here, he's like, all of a sudden, boom, shot up real quick.
Yeah.
Cody when he started lifting weights, he was 12 years old, 85 pounds.
That's about when I started lifting in about 5th grade. My dad started getting me into.
I started when I was 12.
Yeah.
But Cody was 12 years old, 85 pounds. You know how small that is?
That's pretty tiny. You know?
That's real tiny. And that 8-year-old girl weighs 65.
Yeah, I didn't realize Cody was that small.
Yeah, he was real small.
Yeah.
So once we started lifting weights, he went from below average in height and weight to above average in height and weight. And I was talking to a parent the other day, and this kid started lifting weights, and all of a sudden this kid's like grown up just like that. I was shut up. Like, so, but look at
that's like the legend that I heard as like a kid.
But
that it stunts your growth, right? If you squat or whatever.
Yeah, but look at all the freaks that I've had that were starting when they're 8.
Yeah.
They're not small.
Yeah.
They're not midgets.
Right. Yeah.
You know, Colt was 6 foot.
Yeah. And all the Hauser boys got pretty tall in the end.
Yeah.
You know?
And so I think the growth height is your genetic.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes with lifting weights, if you're like Ed Cohn was only like 5'8", maybe 5'6", some of your top end people out there, Louis very short, so all these top end people are relatively short, but that was their genetics.
Right.
When you come out the womb, you're going to be this tall.
Your destiny's already sealed, or your fate's already sealed.
Yeah,
to a certain
because
degree, you know.
To a certain point, I think there may be some stuff you can do with diet stuff to help kind of give them to maximize the growth. Like Cody was taking in 5,000 calories a day. He went from 85 to 125 in a couple months.
Yeah.
But protein's the second most abundant thing in the body. And so if you feed them protein over and over, it's going to boom up. But now if you feed them a lot of carbs maybe just go to your brain. But that's why you're seeing these younger kids get chunky and chunky. These kids are eating cereals, Pop-Tarts.
It's funny now that I'm older, on my own, I'm like controlling my diet. Like I literally, it's easy for meal prep. Like I literally just eat chicken, cook out my nice little like George Foreman grill, make a spinach salad, and I eat brown rice over and over and over again. And I've noticed now that I'm like working an 8 to 5 job, I'm tired at the end of the day. Getting back and eating like that correct diet has given me more energy, because at first I was like starting to dip, being tired at the end of the day, like your lifts are going to go down, but like regulating what I intake, focus on just like what I really need for lifting and keep that energy. Like I've been able to kind of stop that process and continue on the up track again. Like high school, like I used to like eat like a ton of pizza and stuff like that.
I think the activity level is a lot higher then too, though. But these kids, sometimes they're not doing the activities we were. Y'all were always really active. You had football, you did wrestling.
Well, that's pretty much what happened. As I stopped wrestling, I started coming here, because wrestling is when I got the shoulder injury in my sophomore year.
Good choice, Hayden. Good choice.
Yeah.
Always choose the gym.
That's right.
So, I guess we got off on the wrong tangent. Let's go back to this thing that pisses you off in high school: playing the wrong position and you're strong, but you're not a good football player.
I wouldn't say it made me mad, because really it was my choice. So, when I was, middle school, I played like linebacker. I used to be, more lean, because I used to wrestle. Wrestling kept me pretty lean, kept me balanced, but I always found a way to get kind of a little thick after wrestling season.
Your brother did too. He got up to 260.
Yeah, he actually got bigger than me. That was impressive, because I had I struggled. Like my parents fed me this. Okay, so I'll tell my story, because they kind of all feeds into each other. Freshman year, I still played linebacker. Still, I was still kind of an athlete. I played middle linebacker because I was still pretty strong. As a freshman in high school, benching 285, that's pretty good. I remember 7th grade I was 137. I wrestled 137 pound weight class, and I went to the 150, and then I wrestled 189 as a freshman. So I'm gaining pretty good weight. So I was around around 200 pounds as a freshman. And then eventually sophomore year, the great Stars Mill team that we had, we went second in state. It was impossible to get on that. We had so many people signed with schools.
Yeah, I think that was, I don't even know.
A lot of them are up there on that wall over there. At least 4 or 5 of them for sure.
Yeah, I know you had Nowicki going to Georgia Southern. You had Lasky going to Tech. You had
Jack Thomas going to West Georgia. Jeff Green
went to Tech.
Yeah, went to Tech.
Transferred to Ohio State.
Then there's
Alex Barr went to NC State.
Yep. And then there's that. I forget his name now. He went to Brown as a defensive back. He's up there.
Eric Omergast.
Eric Omergast, he went to Brown. That's right. So yeah, like just here alone, just right off the top of my head, you know, that's like what, like 5 or 6 names right there.
Yeah, and they all started when they were sophomores.
Yeah. But so you know, as a sophomore,
I had at one point I think 20 Stars Mill football players.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a story of itself. Though there was some drama involved with that back in the day. You know, now looking back at it, but
it's sad. I've dealt with a lot of people, and at that school they still crap on me. They'll send someone else. I don't know why they don't come here. But
that's a story for itself right there. That whole situation. But you know, so I was given the opportunity to make second string behind Alex Barr. You know, I was never going to start over Alex Barr.
6'7", 320 is a high school.
Going to NC State, you know. But I was given the position to actually, like, I was like one of the, I think Luke Runyon got reps on the special teams, but like, I was like the only guy that kind of cracked the second string, you know, for the the full varsity team, but I had to play left guard. Mm-hmm. So I kind of had a, you know, like as a sophomore at the time, you're like thinking like, oh my gosh, like that opportunity, you know, like I got to take it, right? You know, I wasn't really thinking long term. So, but you know, I only weighed like.
You just wanted to play at that point.
I just wanted to play. That's right. I weighed like 220 then. So obviously, like you know, I was
built like a Mike linebacker.
Yeah, but
why didn't they put you on defense? Or why didn't you think about?
Because I took the left guard spot. You know, it was my choice.
Okay.
You know, they offered it to me, and I took it. Right. And then I decided to fit the mold. So I gained a ton of weight. I was like, you know, I'm like 6'1", you know, and I got the 250, but like that's not going to be a D1 offensive lineman, you know. So I kind of like stayed you know, and then it never really took me, you know. After a while, then the next year I became the starter, you know, after Alex Barr left. So, and then I filled the role, and they just kind of left me there, you know. So like I don't want to tell high school kids like, you know, I don't care about the team. Put yourself where you need to be, but like to a certain degree, like you gotta be smart. Like, don't try and be a position that you're not. Look at what you got, and then make yourself the best at what you have.
If you want to go to the next level, you know, look at the typical height and weight and the build of those
speed, average strength, and can you fit that role? It's like I should look down like I needed to be 2 inches taller at least, and I needed to be like another 30 pounds heavier.
Yeah, so figure out where you need to be and get there. You know, but. Like I've told people on other podcasts, if you go to this school and they're not playing you in the right position, leave the school. Go play where someone's going to play you, but only do that if you're being told like. You
gotta try. You can't hurt to ask the coach like, "Hey, coach, like, can I do something different?"
Yeah,
you know?
I agree, and if. Like we've had some people on, but don't be that kid that transfers school to school to school. If you're playing the right position, you stay at the school whether you like that coach or not. You shouldn't have to like your coach.
You don't need to like your coach. You need to have a professional relationship.
Yeah, and
at least a working relationship.
Yeah, with them, if you're playing the right position, if you're playing where you need to be, don't leave that school because you don't like someone. I hate that crap too. But I think if you're playing like. Colton was a defensive end in high school. That's because he was stronger than any lineman in the world. Yeah. I guarantee there's no one stronger relative compared to Colton. 450 bench. No high school lineman's going to bench 450 weighing less than 200.
No, that's just not common anywhere. Period.
And not only that, not only going to take that, but you got the 450 bench. You got the 625 squat. You got the highest vertical jumper in the country. You got those 3 things, and there's no athlete on the planet that can do all 3 things compared to where he was in high school.
The problem is the colleges are looking just like what you look like on paper size. They're looking at your height, and they're looking at your weight, and they're like, "Does this fit us?" And despite with all those things, like, 'cause like I try to make up for my lack of size for left guard, you know, with just getting really strong. I was really strong, you know, like I benched 440, you know, I squatted a lot, and I was like decently fast for a lineman, but like that just was not.
You ran a 4.8, hey, you were freaking fast. You ran a 4.8 in here, which is on lasers.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, You may have weighed 220. I think I may have written. I should have brought out that old crusty folder with. I still got it somewhere. I think it's even got some rat piss on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't the animals get it or something?
Yeah, because we had
food taped to the front of it.
Yeah, we
it was
had
like candy and like Chex Mix and stuff like that. It was kind of weird.
I actually had a lot of ants in my filing cabinet over there because of that freaking folder. But so you put yourself out of position.
Put myself out of position.
So that's not the coach's fault, though, is it? You think?
I'm trying to replay it. To be honest, it was a while ago now. I don't remember if I was told or if I had volunteered. It was definitely more closer, maybe it's being voluntold. Yeah. How I would describe it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, we had other players that could fill the spots, because, we had Michael Muska the year above me playing middle linebacker, and he's, obviously Michael, he went to Mercer.
Yeah,
he was a good middle linebacker. Like,
yeah,
why would
you
take a left guard?
I don't think they played him. I don't think he started it. Was he always defense?
I think he might have had some fullback reps
because,
in there.
We changed his body composition a lot too.
I don't necessarily remember Mike's progress.
Yeah,
I just remember him always being pretty strong.
Yeah, and he had that crazy Mike linebacker mentality too.
He had the anger bone in him. He had that fire. You know, I remember him making some pretty good hits.
Yeah, and he broke his toe, and I think he was still coming here so I could condition him, but a broke toe.
Yeah.
But another thing that pisses me off is one of the coaches. What good are you to a team now?
Yeah.
Why are you going to belittle a kid because he got a broke toe? Let me break your toe. You don't do that to a kid.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I do, and it pisses me off. And what good are you? Yeah, what good are you as a coach if you ain't helping these athletes be more successful than you? If you're not helping these kids go to college and play a college sport like you want to, you are an animal that needs to freaking leave.
I don't want to.
I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think a coach should be making these athletes be better than what they were. If you went to a D2 college, at least help your kid get to an FCS school. If you went to an FCS school, at least try to help the kid get to an FBS school. I think a coach should be making these athletes better than what they were. Well, and so that's kind of, I don't care.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna do anything to me.
Right.
They already done their damage, so they know it.
Well, there's always another kid too, coming up.
Yeah,
that's the thing about high school. In sports, it's like, there's people always rolling.
Well, we got this other high school next county over that says, "Don't go to explosive mechanics. Don't waste your money."
They just want everyone. Because I remember part of the whole reason. I guess we'll talk about the explosive drama story now. It's like, the guys that like me that went to explosive would buy into your program, but like we weren't able to be excused from like weightlifting class and stuff like that. So like we wouldn't take, we didn't want to burn ourselves out that day, for explosive lifting after school. So like, now it's all said and done, I kind of faked it and went through the motions back in gym class, to be honest with you, and so I could save my energy for here to get the better work. Because I remember like when I would fully do the high school workout and then come here, I was like almost like too tired at that point in time. Like I still got for a while there, that's what we did, and like we would get some results. But then when we started not doing the high school program, just kind of this makes me sound so bad on the podcast. But like when we started taking that not as seriously and like I could like fully engulf myself in this program is when we got the better results.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think it would be hard as a high school strength coach or whatever to kind of balance that. But I've always, y'all do what you do at school, and I try to come here to manipulate around what y'all do.
We tried so hard to allow them to like not make us work out. Like if we like had like a roster of who was going here, but we just couldn't get
the communication. And I told the head coach at Stars Mill that if
I guess we're out there now.
Yeah. Well, we'll tell the at that school is that if they'll come if the head coach would come in, I would show them the roster.
Well, it's like I don't want to seem like I'm attacking stars, but like, you know, like if you, how am I gonna put this to words here? Like the kids, like you're getting specialized training here. It's gonna be better than what you're gonna get like the generic weightlifting program at a high school.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you would. My logic was, you know, granted I don't run a football team,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so I can't say what it's like, you know, but like if I had a group of kids like going beyond the call of duty, you
Mm-hmm.
know, willing to do it, like I would think that would be all right. You know, I know there are arguments like team unity type stuff, you know, like why are these group of kids like not here or whatever, you know, on the team, but like this is the superior program. Like you're paying for a better product.
You're paying. You're actually physically paying for a strength coach.
Yeah, you're actually paying money for it.
Yeah.
You know.
So
I feel like they might have taken like offense to that. Like they didn't think like the program was good enough. But like, you know, like those guys at school, they have a job. You know, they're coaches. They're coaching classes and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
That's why I always thought they shouldn't have taken offense to it that people wanted to go here. It's like,
Yeah,
they're like, this is your living. This is your career. This is what you do. It's,
they're teacher
you
first.
focus. I mean, they got to provide for their family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, coaching something. It's not like they get paid that much to coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's something that they do on the side because they like it, and that's awesome that they, you know, volunteered for that. But like, this is your living. You are going to be better than a person that has a different job that does like training and stuff like that on the side. So that's why I never really thought it should have been like that. Like there was a little bit of bad blood back when in high school about it.
Yeah.
I didn't think it should have been there. You know?
And I've always tried to work with either whether we're at that school over there or this school over here or wherever. You know, I told the coach, you know, if you want to see who's coming here, because there has been some times when some kids would come here and say they told the coach that they'd go here and they don't go here.
Oh, really? Well, that's.
And so that's kind of where stuff. But I've always been willing to work with the high school coaches and stuff. Hey, look, if you got a problem, you know, I've even had a couple of high school coaches come here, come to gym, see what we do, and leave and whatever. And so I've never been opposed to helping, you know, because it's really ultimately about helping the kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so my job is to try to help someone be better than I am. That's the whole point, is to take the knowledge that I've gained and pass it on so that someone can be better than what they even thought they could be. You know, like sometimes where people will come in and they don't really think too highly of themselves, but they end up going and doing something better. Like Brooks didn't really play sports when he started, went off to Air Force.
You know, he used to play football. He had did he have an injury that something from playing football?
Yeah,
so
he broke a bone in his neck.
Yeah, he went full track and then ended up going to Air Force Academy.
Yeah, he didn't start track till his junior year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And he was a freak at shot put, if I'm not mistaken. Like I remember.
But that's because Brooks had almost. I think we got him 365, 385 bench.
Yeah.
You know, that bench is correlated with. I've got a high bench. I can't throw the shot.
I tried shot put.
You know, I could probably throw it. I could probably throw it a good distance, but someone with better technique will still beat me. But if I learned the skill, like these coaches are supposed to be teaching you, you'd be better off. You know, if you take that strength and you combine it with skill, you got a deadly recipe.
That's how you win.
Yeah. And so you left after you left the high school. Where you went to where?
Well, I had to go to the prep school for the Merchant Marine Academy, and that was NMMI. It was some military like junior college thing out in Roswell, New Mexico. That was
the alien world, huh?
That was an experience, let me tell you. Like it was like I had problems like keeping my strength up because like, you know, when I went to these schools, like, you know, for the first month and a half, like it's like boot camp ish thing, and you have push-ups, running, sit-ups, you know, totally trashes your gains, right? And like at this school in particular, you know, I feel bad attacking other schools out there, you know, stuff like that, but I don't feel bad making fun of, like, this place was ridiculous. The food that they fed us there was like below prison grade, and like I remember like they would have like the students like serving the food to each other in the morning. Like there would be like maggots in our eggs, like like you go like the juice like fountain and like fruit flies would come out, and that a lot of stuff, and the food itself like didn't taste good. It's like I shrank. Like I remember like I came back and like people would be like, "Wow, Hayden, your face isn't as fat anymore." Like I was like a skeleton.
That food was eating your food.
Pretty much. And you want to know the most gross thing I found out after I left there? So like a lot of like they had massive peanut butter and jelly like stations.
Okay.
To like as like an alternative to not eating the food. So be just like big fat peanut butter, like pretty much like a ladle. You scoop it out, and like that's why I ate a lot. Turns out that peanut butter is kind of an expensive product, but you want to know it's cheap? It's mayonnaise. So they would pour mayonnaise into the peanut butter vat and like stir it up to like fluff it up and give it volume. So like I'm just I thought I was eating protein and stuff like that when I was lifting, but really I was just intaking a bunch of fat. It's just, man, I hated it. I hated it there. I'll go ahead and say like I tried to like work out and stuff like that there, but it was just so bad. Like they weren't feeding me well at all, and it was a miserable year. And then eventually I went to the USMMA.
That's where you played rugby at, right? Did you start there? Where'd you play? You played football in college first.
So originally I was a football recruit
at USMMA.
Because so what my size wasn't good enough for D1.
Okay.
So my dad helped me come to understand. It's like, well, smaller schools, can pick you up. It's like just get into a good school at this point. That's what a lot of people like. I remember like in high school, it's like D1 or nothing. Yeah. Right? It's like
that's what everybody wants to do, and so that's why I think the coaches.
It's cool, but
yeah, I think a high school coach should try to help you get there, but they should also know limits. Okay, no, you're probably not going to go there because they do very specifically. These colleges do want a certain height and weight.
And what people fail to realize is like even if you go D1, like odds if you go pro, slim to none.
Yeah.
Realistically, unless if you're a freak, it's not going to happen. So like, why not use your capability to get into a good school and get a good degree out of it, and maybe get it paid for?
Yeah, that's why I was trying to tell some kids around here.
You gotta suck up your ego a little bit. You're not. Not everyone's going to be on ESPN. In some big bowl game.
Yeah.
So like, Merchant Marine Academy, one of the best schools out. I did psychoengineering, but we also had another boot. So it's funny. Like, so with the NIMI, got my lifts trashed. Slowly rebuilt it. Went to Kings Point, another boot camp. Lifts trashed again. Food was a little better here. Still not the best, but there's definitely not maggots in our food. So, and then eventually, throughout that time, I played football my freshman year, and I had another situation. It was like kind of like high school, like where the weight program just wasn't like after like going here for a few years, like it's hard to like go back, to like kind of like the cook. Because I remember how we had the system where I was like emailing you my progress. I still kind of stayed on the explosive train a little bit, but obviously I couldn't come here while I was in New York.
Yeah, it's so much harder once you get out of here, but then you don't really realize what the gym does to you until you're gone and try to replicate it.
I remember I always come back when I was at school, and I like, especially for Christmas break and stuff like that, and I get stronger. It's kind of like a quick like refresher, like pick you back up, type thing, coming back to this gym. So, but at the Merchant Marine Academy, we have, we sail for a year on ships, and like the first ship I was on, like the gym, we were rolling on this thing for so badly, I didn't work out for 3 months. Once again, lifts, like not lifting for 3 months, I could still come back and still rep 275. So it's like the world wasn't over, but like it killed my ego personally.
Yeah, once you rep in the 200s, like man. It's
after getting over 400, being back in the 200s, like that hurts,
Yeah, after I tore my tricep, I had to start off at 225.
Oh, square one.
Yeah, I was repping. I was doing 315. I could do 315 sets of 9 with 80 pounds of chain.
Yeah, wow. With chains too, that's impressive. I've never seen Colton do something scary with 315 and chains when he was in high school.
Yeah, it's crazy, but now I'm kind of close to where I was. I've got scheduled today. I got to do 325 plus chain sets of 5 today, and before I tore off my elbow, I was doing 350 sets of 5. So if I get my reps today, I'll be 25 pounds off a year later. It took a little bit longer to recover from my tricep injury than I thought.
Yeah.
But the whole point is I'm back.
hey, better now than never.
So I know what too much is, and I know when to back off. But anyway, so all these ships getting weaker all the time.
Weaker all the time. Well, then eventually, I got done sailing. I was able to kind of build over time, and now I've been at a steady. Now I just went into the Coast Guard. Now I'm able to work out regularly. I can control my diet and stuff like that. But yeah, it was kind of, I had a lot of ups and downs throughout my, obviously like rugby season, would dip me down. Rugby's a tough sport on your body. A trash.
Yeah, I've always been intrigued by rugby, but I have no clue about the rules. I try to follow it.
I still barely understand it.
I guess you don't really follow it till you play it, right?
I definitely don't watch rugby on like TV or anything like that, but it's a really fun sport to play because
that strength really helped you play rugby, didn't it? How much does strength come into play when you play rugby?
Well, I would tell you it's huge because when I first started playing rugby, I didn't have it's like no unlike any other sport we play in America. Really, I mean, rugby's growing in popularity if you actually look at the stats in America, but it's obviously not like a football's level or anything yet. Yeah. But it's totally different, and just having like the raw strength and speed, I was able to still play at a pretty decently high level. Rugby is a beautiful sport. It's literally like a sport of linebackers. Like you don't have to be 6'5". You can be short and be good at rugby. Like size isn't as important. It's more about being in shape and being strong. What
about the tackling? Tackling in rugby is a lot safer than American football too, right?
That's why some people are saying rugby is growing popularity because they don't have as many serious injuries. Because the way without pads, like you're not like putting your helmet in some dude's chest at full speed. You're kind of like. It's almost like similar to kind of like wrestling on how you would take someone down, like in a wrestling match. Like,
kind of roll with them.
You get off onto the side, because if you put your head across your body, you're going to take a knee. What happened to my buddy? He kind of tried doing a football tackle, took a knee to the head, got a concussion, done. It's like you tackle in a smarter way. You tackle at angles more than like direct collision in football. So actually, there's really not that like the only reason why you're going to get hurt in rugby for the most part is if you're playing like an idiot, you're not playing smart, or to be honest, like with the tackling, there is some like smaller leg injuries that you can get, if you get tackled too low. But realistically, for the most part, like serious injuries like broken bones or
what about like torn ACLs and stuff like that in rugby? You see a lot of that.
Yeah, that is. Because like the way they tackle, like people, since you don't have pads, like people want to go lower and not take the brunt, so people normally go for legs. And like there's a lot of like like when you get tackled in rugby, like it's almost like a mosh pit, like wrestling and stuff like that. Like to be honest, it's that knee injuries are kind of prone in rugby.
Can you wear knee braces like they do on an offensive line?
No, you can't. You can't wear. You can wear like maybe like ace bandages, something. You can't have any metal apparatuses.
Okay.
Like you're not even allowed to have
Safety
metal cleats.
Stuff.
Like it's safety. Like you're gonna. Because like it's weird, like when you look at rugby, like when you get tackled, like the guy like lays down like on the ground and like becomes like a line of scrimmage like on top of him. It's like feet and like I got cleated a lot. I mean, it's not too bad, but
yeah,
rugby's not. It's a tough sport, but you're not gonna get like the crazy broken legs.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of like mid-level and lower injuries. A lot of bruises.
Yeah, I think it'd be a fun sport. I tried to get Kyle to play rugby at his college, but
it's a ton of fun. Especially me being like an offensive lineman. Like everyone runs the football in rugby, even the big guys. It's like you have like the ability to score. Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh, like it's a dream come true. Because like as an offensive lineman, like to be honest with you, it's kind of boring. First to blame, last to fame.
Yeah, I've never scored a touchdown in my entire life.
Yeah, you don't know that sweet feeling.
I've never scored a touchdown.
We call them tries in rugby, and scoring a try, it's like, man. Like I remember, I think it was my senior season is when I finally figured out the game, and I was like still like in good shape and strong, and like I'm pretty sure I set the single season scoring record at my school. Like it's funny, like each class at Kings Point, slang for USMMA, Kings Point. You start with 240, you graduate like 180, but we still played D1 AA rugby. Like we played against like I'm pretty sure it was Virginia Tech and like Notre Dame, and we beat them actually. And
cool.
Massive schools, like we got 180 most of the people are recruited athletes anyway, so they can't even play. Like the pool that you have to recruit, you know, at our school is so small, and like the success that we actually had. We had a tough or first class that we call it academies season, because we had a bunch of people get in trouble. Yeah. But you know, it was a good time. I'm really glad. Like, I was thinking about trying out for the actual like Coast Guard all team, and like that's like we would play against like the professional men's clubs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think overseas for professional rugby, even at your age,
rugby's huge.
Yeah, you can make a couple. You can make 6 figures.
Rugby is the second largest sport worldwide, if I'm not mistaken. It's behind soccer. It's gonna be tough to beat soccer, but rugby like is popular in soccer nations. Yeah. So you know,
that'd be cool.
It's
to check
pretty
out.
big. You know.
Yeah, I've even talked to some people around here about even starting a rugby league here in Peachtree City.
I think you'd have a tough time finding people to play. You know. But it's a lot of fun. Like people play old, like rugby. Like there's like 45-year-olds still playing rugby. You know.
Yeah, I know over in Germany when they play their softball organizations, you got 20-year-old girls and 30-year-old girls playing with 16, 17-year-old girls. Yeah. I think over there they group the wide ranges with skill set, and so then you could have this club here with 16 to 30-year-olds, but they're all running the same skill set. Just because older don't mean they're better. Just because you're younger, don't mean they're bad or whatever.
Age factors into rugby a little bit. Like you can't have someone.
I can go out there and run. I'll be freaking dying after 30 yards.
18. Yeah, I will say, like to be honest with you, like 20 to 30s are probably gonna be your peak years when you're like fully developed, but you're still because like rugby is a little different than football. Like you actually have to be like conditioned. Like, you can't just be fast. Like you gotta be able to run some miles. Like at the start of practice, twice a week I'd have the guys run like 2 miles at least. Yeah. Before we did practice, you know, to kind of get them in shape, and then we would do like maybe like sprints at the end. Yeah. For speed, but like you gotta have that kind of just raw. That's why it was kind of hard for like lifting. You know, when you start running miles, it makes lifting.
You're running hard. Competitive miles, which means loaded miles, which is you're always fighting against someone within rugby. Yeah. It's more of a resisted mile instead of a straight up jog. Right.
Well, at game time, it is like, you know, you're not actually just like, I mean, to be honest, like, you know, you're always moving in rugby. Yeah. Not as much as soccer, but you're moving a lot, and you know, you get tackled and
short sprint here, short sprint there, short sprint here, short sprint there. Yep. It's not a continuous
running into a bunch of people.
Trying to move, like me and you versus shoulder to shoulder, and I'm trying to push you back and you're trying to push me back, right?
Yeah, that would happen a lot. That's where strength would come in, because like, you know, rugby is split up between what we call pack and backs. So athletic guys on the back line. Oh man, they explain rugby right now. It would be, you know, I would need another podcast for that one. But pretty much there's like the heavier set group, the pack, and there's the lighter set group, the backs. And like the pack will be like, that's like when they're kind of pushing each other over. That's something when size and strength really matters. And the backs can be a little more just fast, you know. Still got to be able to make tackles and open. Tackling with no pads and open space is difficult. Yeah. That is a tough task for those guys out there. It's especially, like, you know, in a lot of space too. Yeah. You know, so I miss it. I do miss it. I sometimes I really wish I would join the Coast Guard team, but the problem is now if I get hurt, I can't do my job. If I can't do my job, I can't get promoted. If I can't get promoted, then I get kicked out of the Coast Guard. So it's like yeah, it's a tough spot, you know.
Yeah, like they say, you're between heaven and hell, I guess. Yeah. You want to do this, but you can't because you got to do this, and so you're just kind of stuck in the middle. Yeah. But I think not playing rugby and advancing your career is probably
long run. It's more
kind of like what we was talking about earlier. You got to see the big picture.
You got to see the big picture. It's like, you know, I joined the Coast Guard to do my part, not to
go play,
not to play ball. Yeah. You know. I wish I could do both. I mean, I could. It's a gamble, though. If I went out there and tore my ACL, I can't do my job. Yeah, it's a big deal. Like, you know, like in the military, you know, it's all about your reviews. You know, like what your supervisor says, and like if you literally just don't do work, like you're not gonna get good reviews, and
you have the insurance. It's really important. Go way out the roof, and
well, you know, we get free healthcare. You know, so
well, someone's paying for it.
I'm not getting a paycheck right now during a government shutdown, so I don't feel too bad.
So, yeah, I won't get into Do y'all get back pay for that, or how's that?
We're gonna
work?
we're gonna get back paid. We're gonna get back paid, but who
So
knows?
it's just a
I don't want to
paycheck.
get too political on your
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, no, we won't go there too much, but yeah, it's bad, but it's not as bad as what people make it out to be, right?
Some people are struggling a lot more.
I guess they don't have anything put behind.
In the military, like some enlisted people don't make that much money. Like I was able to save up enough money to where it's fine as long as you pay me back. I'm not gonna be that mad.
Mm-hmm.
But some people kind of live paycheck to paycheck.
So those are the ones getting hit hard right now.
Mm-hmm. It's really sad. Like I like my unit. Like we were getting like the low. Like you normally see like when you think the Coast Guard, you think of like hurricanes, Coast Guard going out there getting people out, like feeding them, giving them supplies and stuff like that. Like at our unit, like they were collecting rice and beans and like diapers and stuff like that to give the Coast Guard families. It's like reverse logic and
Yeah.
like I mean some of the guys really needed it, but like it's sad. You know, like how can you not pay? We're still going to work. I don't.
Yeah, let's go there.
I don't know. It's really sad. I'm hoping the government shutdown ends soon.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's just where we are in time. So,
Yeah.
Well, Hayden, is there anything else you'd like to cover?
I think we covered a lot. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be here this afternoon if you wanna.
So anyway, well, Hayden, thanks for coming on.
Jared, it's always a pleasure to see you.
You too, Hayden. So thanks for everything you've always done. Your dedication to the gym and
More so what you've allowed me to do. Let me come here over the past few years when I've been in and out randomly through my unpredictable college experience.
It's always good to help someone that cares. If you were just coming here screwing there, you come in here, you do your thing, you're in, you're out. You come socialize with me a little bit, trying to catch up, and it's been a good thing, Hayden. So thanks for. I really appreciate. Hayden didn't really want to do this podcast, but I really appreciate you coming on. It was fun.
I'm not being as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, once we get talking and stuff, there's a lot of stuff we can cover and kind of pick up over the years and kind of bring back some memories of things you forgot. Things I
I
forgot.
will say that was a lot of reflection. I kind of thought about my choices and path. I mean, everything worked out for me.
Yeah,
I'm glad of where I'm at.
Ultimately,
right
everything
now.
happens for a reason.
Yeah, it all worked out. But like strategically, think about it. Like if I wanted to do like bigger time school for football and stuff like that, there's definitely some different decisions I could have made.
Yeah.
Kind of put myself
And
on
different,
a
but
better path,
But what would you tell a young Hayden Frey?
Do leg day.
Oh, we gave you crap for that for years. But
I was bad about leg day. Do all your auxiliary lifts. Don't be lazy.
do the things you don't want to do.
Exactly.
So I think that helps a lot.
Put in the work. As your shirt, some of your shirts say "shut up and work" or whatever the saying is.
Shut up and work on. Some of them say "what the freak" and prove them wrong.
Yeah, I still think you should make the "he went to Jared" shirt, but
oh boy, that could be dangerous.
yeah.
So anyway, hey, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a good day. Hayden again. Thank you.
Thanks, Jared.